morning. I'm Claudia SERNA, broker of Brokers LLC. I'm here with the other broker for the company, Oscar Morales, and Juan Morales, that he does everything in our company. Just following the latest trend on real estate, the lawsuits. Let's talk about a very interesting topic. Let's talk about sexual harassment lawsuits on real estate. That's like a hot potato. What happened? Actually, it happened to us. And many of you, I'm pretty sure if you just tune in, must be asking sexual harassment. That must be within the company and within the employees, because our real estate agents that we just reaching the 500 number are independent contractors. Juan, our independent contractors can be sued for sexual harassment, and the brokers that they work under the umbrella can be. Hold on, first, let's do some disclosures. We are just real estate people. We're no lawyers. We're just talking, and we're just letting know what we think and what happened to us and how we navigate different things. Welcome, Juan.
Hello, how's it going? Well, independent contractors, if we think about it in the common sense, when a company hires an independent contractor, you would expect the company to never be affected by the actions of this independent contractor. We were under that assumption for the longest of time, and it took us a sexual harassment suit and a buttload of money that we owe now, because one of our agents decided to misrepresent himself under these accusations. And guess what? We are now part of the lawsuit, and we have to pay a bunch of money because one of our agents decided to commit these actions. So yes, we are liable for these.
But I have a question. How that happen? If are gonna be liable if somebody does whatever they do outside there and they're independent contractors, where the contractual relationship was tied to us when our agent did personal stuff with someone. How that happened? Just tell us a little bit.
It's a huge gray area. Unnamed agent decided to go look for clients for a rental property. He found somebody, and then he started asking her out via text messaging, which, I'm going to tell everybody right now, stay in your professional lane. Don't bring the personal into the professional. But he started texting her back and forth into a relationship of sorts. We don't know how far it got. We don't know how deep it got. But eventually she decided to sue him for discrimination and sexual harassment, which in the end ended up affecting us.
So the contractual relationship got together with the brokerage company because they met at a showing?
I don't know if they met at a showing, but it all started with the idea of showing the client a property. That's why it's contractual. It began as a client relationship, and it ended up being something more than that.
And that is when the brokerage company
comes into effect, and we got
affected by.
We got attached to the lawsuit because of it. Now, if she were to sue him for sexual harassment, that's fine. She can only sue him, but she brought in a discrimination arm attached to it, and that's how we got affected and brought into the whole case, because we are the real estate company representing this agent.
Wow. Okay, Oscar, you're 5 cents or 10.
Or that.
Wow. You were the one that was really in front of trying to, because we got it was a lawsuit, or we started with the board of realtors trying to mediate, or how was it? Tell us a little bit about it.
That was a direct lawsuit against us. Of course, they're not gonna go against this person. They're gonna go against whoever
has the money.
But we don't have money. Okay, that's what people think.
That's right, the thing. And of course,
they're going after the errors and omissions
insurance. Exactly. They're going to go against the insurance company, of course. And something that I thought at the beginning is, as Juan was saying, if this is an independent contractor, and actually they engage during in the scope of real estate, because when they started knowing each other was through a property that she was looking for.
So how did they meet? She called him because we had a rental listing. She called him directly. Maybe she found the property in one of these websites. Called him and told him, hey, show me this property. And he goes and show her the property, and that's how they met.
That's how they met.
Okay.
And that's how the attorneys were telling us the responsibility for brokers came because it was under the scope of real estate at the time that they engage.
I can't believe it. So, again, they met showing a property. They decide to like each other. He decided to start texting her, inviting her to go out. She was texting back. And all of a sudden, she said that she was going to sue him for sexual harassment. And we got into the sexual harassment lawsuit because they met in a showing, and we are responsible for his actions.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what they're saying.
Okay.
That's what they're attaching themselves to. But from the very beginning, and this goes out to everybody that hires independent contractors, you can be liable for sexual harassment depending on the state that you're in. You can cover your butt a little bit more than other companies. Here in Florida, the law is that you need to have errors and omissions and another one called EPL, which is
Employment
Protection law.
professional.
Employment professional liability insurance.
Okay. Okay, but I have another question there. So, this is not an errors and omissions act on a real estate transaction, because by the way, the transaction never happened. So, how the errors and omissions insurance is going to cover something that didn't even happen? So, I want to understand, when you start talking to the errors and omissions insurance lawyers, and when you start talking to our own lawyer, and when you start reading all of this, what was their position? How did they said they were going to act in front of a lawsuit like this?
Well, actually, the first step that they took was get their attorneys reviewing the policy. And actually, at the beginning, what they told me was that the policy only covered brokers. It wouldn't cover him. But since it was under the scope of real estate, then they decided to help.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say they only cover brokers? That they only cover us? No, they cover all our agents.
They're supposed to cover all our agents.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
the only way to link that demand was through what Juan says before. Discrimination.
So they added the discrimination clause on top of the sexual harassment so they can bring us into it.
Exactly. That's the way they did it.
Okay, and what is it they were looking for in terms of money?
We're talking about $160,000.
They started with $160,000. That's what they wanted?
Yeah.
Because he was texting her, inviting her to have dinner?
Yep.
That's the initial cost of the suit.
Cost? No, that was we're asking.
Yeah, that's what they were asking.
Okay, and then we had to start paying lawyers' fees and things like that. And by the end, dear everyone, unfortunately, and I said this very clear because I just don't like it, but we had to do it, and that was a decision that we took in this situation, and we didn't take it lightly. I hate to settle when things don't make sense and we didn't really make any mistakes. Okay?
It's not like we told the agent to go out and sexually harass somebody. It's not something.
Exactly. We had to settle, and we made that decision because the cost, as you know, in lawyers' fees is astronomical. It's so big.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though errors and omissions insurance was going to cover part of this lawsuit, because they said to us, we're gonna cover you guys in some percentage, less than 50%, and we had to come out from our pocket with the other part. Why I don't like to settle? Because when you settle, you are like leaving a mark out there that you settle cases like this, and you are building case law based on settlements for things that they are totally unfair. So I struggle a lot with myself when we had to make the decision of settling this case, but we had to do it. She got some of the money. We had to pay part, the agent pay another part. We lost a lot of time and effort from everyone, man hours into this thing. And my 2 cents to every real estate agent out there, please be careful. Be careful. There is a lot of people going after money. Some might be true, some might be just going after money. I'm not saying one way or another, but just be careful. Stay on your line of job.
Yeah, don't put the professional with the personal, because it's never gonna go well. Keep your professional real estate life as one thing and your personal life as something completely different.
And,
Never mix a client with anything.
and please, text messages? Really? Really? Text messages?
In a world where everything is traceable anywhere at any time, anyhow.
Yeah, totally. Oscar, tell us, what did you learn about this? Because you were in a mediation for how many hours?
It was 7 hours mediation.
My God.
Going back and forth, asking more money, them, trying to, of course, lower it down. In my mind, of course, at the time that we were in the mediation, I wouldn't like the fact that we were discussing about how much we're gonna settle for, because it's exactly the same thing. I feel like if I settle, I'm guilty.
We're giving them the okay.
Yeah, that we actually hired somebody.
Exactly.
So that's the only thing. The only thing, no, the most important thing for me to just try to eat it up.
Yeah.
So
But,
we're all in agreement. We all wanted to fight, but lawyer cost is just way too high. In the end, even if we would have won that lawsuit, we would have lost so much money, which is just basically losing anyways.
And man hours.
Hours, yeah.
Because it was crazy going back and forth with lawyers and plaintiffs and more lawyers,
Mediations and meetings and talking.
and then they brought us another the discrimination part was brought to us through a third-party company that helps with low income
Renters,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So that's why we got into the
Discrimination part of the suit, yeah. That's why we got dragged into this. If it would have been something as simple as the sexual harassment lawsuit, they could have only sued him. But they saw that the agent, didn't have any money, so they tried to look for a way to get the company, which is how they brought in this third company to actually attack us for discrimination, which is what brought everything into the case to us.
Well, something that I would suggest all the realtors out there is that it's actually very easy to fall into a mistake. Not only because they can be sued in a sexual harassment lawsuit, but because we always want to give a little more advice to our clients.
Totally agree with you. We are always adding value to our client, and sometimes we are stepping into a zone that we shouldn't. And I understand, and we tell that to our agents all the time, because they're always like trying to be more customer service oriented, and they start saying, go to this lawyer, or we know about taxes, and we many times are even psychologists and psychiatrists and many more things that, guys, we understand, as Oscar is saying, that you want to be
Everything for your client.
okay. Guys, what are we doing in order to get a positive step towards what we learn? What is it that we're doing within our agents? And one of the things that we are doing is little podcasts like this, so people can have a lot of knowledge, or a little knowledge, of what's going on out there, and everything that is going on in other real estate companies. So we are an independent, a small real estate company, but we are trying to get the word out. So what is it that we're doing?
We started with education. A lot of agents need to be educated and given commands such as, well, not commands, that sounds a little wrong, but given more education as to what they should be doing, what kind of professionalism, because a lot of people who become real estate agents, they don't have such a big code of ethics, even though the board offers it. Their brokers should be stepping in a little bit more into that, and that's what we're doing. We have a pamphlet with the 90 traits that a buyer's agent should have. We're coming out with the seller's one as well. We're practically guiding them on what things to do, what not to do, how to talk to a client, how to not talk to a client when we teach them classes, and so on. What else are we doing?
Basically trainings. Actually, during the trainings, for me, it's one very important aspect when I do trainings on contracts, because one of the things that the realtors don't do is read those contracts. They just fill out the information on the contract, but they don't go further down, and they don't understand the concept of the contract.
Data filled, yeah.
It's
Correct.
data filling.
And when you read the contracts, it says right there how you can get your liability off of your shoulders. So it's very important to understand those contracts. It's very important to understand what you're selling, what you're saying to your clients, and if you're gonna go the extra step, just be very careful of whatever you're saying.
We offer classes for contracts in Zoom and in the office and everywhere. Just make sure, guys, and the contracts are very interesting because you can adapt the contract to your transaction. It's not the other way. The transaction doesn't adapt to the contract. The contract adapts to the transaction. That's why you need to understand the contract. You don't have to learn the contract, understand the contract, which is very different, okay? So, anything else that we like to add to
Yeah,
it?
this one goes to you all agents. Read, please, just read the contract. It's not that hard to understand, and once you read it and understand it, you can make it go your way so much faster and so much better. Everything will go so much smoother when you actually read the contracts.
And believe me that your client is going to notice it.
Oh yeah,
The client is going to notice if you know the contract.
in and out.
They're gonna be with you for the rest of the life if you know what you're doing. If you don't know, they'll notice it too. So knowledge is super important. Everyone, remember, we are Brokers LLC, an independent real estate company. We're not lawyers. We're just brokers and real estate agents trying to make this world beautiful, make money, have fun. My 1 cent, we are a 100% company. So follow us on Instagram. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Bye.